Many of us feel we lack financial education, but never fear, help is at hand. Tebogo Mabokwane is here to explain to us exactly how we can get on top of it. Tebogo, the question for most people who do want to get on top of it is, where and how do I start?
There are quite a number of starting points, but one of the more available starting points is if you are employed, you start with your employer. If you are employed on a full-time basis, you have a pension fund.
Sure.
And that forms the basis of your financial education journey.
Sure. But obviously, a pension fund is never enough, especially as we're planning for retirement and we're planning to retire comfortably. So tell me about the product that Old Mutual has developed there to improve the financial education of its employees, but also of everyone else who wants to partake.
We have the Financial Wellbeing Program, and it is a financial education program aimed at empowering employers in our funds that we administer, as well as any other employer who is interested in empowering their employees.
And how exactly does it work?
How it works is that we approach employers with our offering. So with the employers where we administer the funds, it comes standard as part of the offering. But we also market it to those employers that are not part of our administration platform as a value add that they can give to the employers, because it speaks to us and our promise to empower all in South Africa.
Right, and then tell me about the e-learning component of the Financial Wellbeing Program.
That is aimed at supporting the face-to-face financial education that we do. But so it's both for support before a session and after a session. The e-learning is smaller version of the huge offering of financial education that's available.
And then you're talking about a session, so walk me through it. Play, you come here, well, you are here, and you're taking me through a session. How would that go?
We would arrange with the employer to be at the employer's premises at a specific date and time, and we would agree to how long we have with those employees. We would tailor that program to address any specific issues or to convey a message that the employer wants to get through to the employees.
And mostly, as you do go on sites and you interact with different employees, what are the common messages that employers want to get across to their employees?
Saving is key. Looking after your finances is key. And one of the biggest messages that we're also trying to support employers with is enabling positive retirement outcomes for employees as well.
That's a big task, and because especially we do know the fact that a lot of people in South Africa don't save. So how does Old Mutual go about doing that?
It is a huge task, but we approach it one employee at a time, one employee at a time, and one member at a time, because we understand that we're dealing with habits, we're dealing with cultures. So how we go about that is we actually come down to the level of that employee, and we understand their background as much as possible. We understand and respect their circumstances, and we partner with them to put them on a journey that they co-craft with us. Thereby they understand where they're going, where they come from, where they're going, and how they're going to get there.
And then, Deborah, tell me about the Old Mutual Big Five. I'm tempted to think we're talking about the safari here, but this is financial services, so I know we're definitely not.
The Big Five, that program is called On the Money. And it's called On the Money because we find the Big Five on our banknotes. And it is such a powerful program in that because we interact with our banknotes on a daily basis, it's actually continuous learning. So for example, you find a 10 Rand, on the 10 Rand note, you find the rhinoceros. So the content around the rhinoceros is around managing your debt. So each time you hand over a 10 Rand note to pay at the shops, you are reminded that I should be using cash where I can, keep my debt down, and understand the debt that I'm entering into. Right,
so you've mentioned the rhinoceros. Any other animals there in the Big Five that have a symbolic relationship with financial management?
So then we have the lion, where we tell people to save first or pay yourself first, and that is just saving towards your own goal. We have the buffalo, where we talk about wealth management and accumulation. We have the elephant, where we talk about budgeting.
The leopard. We
And
mentioned
then
the leopard.
we also have the leopard, where we talk about stay focused on your goals. Keep your eye on the prize. And we understand that life happens, but keep your eye on the prize because you will get there, even if it might take you a little bit longer. You'll get there.
And then when life does happen, and you hit a financial requirement that requires you to actually tap into some of those savings, how do you recover from that?
We encourage people to not abandon their savings completely. So if you are saving 100 Rand towards a specific goal and something happens where you obviously can no longer save that 100 Rand, don't abandon that savings completely. Save 10 Rand, save 20 Rand, which, because then like I said, it might take you a little bit longer, but you are still on that path. So don't abandon it at all, because human nature, I might never go back.
And then just lastly, what's the ideal level of savings that most people should be putting away from, their monthly income?
It differs from person to person, really. And it's about affordability. So depending on what your goals are for your future, especially for your retirement, you need to look at what, you need to, be very intelligent with your savings and be honest with yourself about what you can afford. Because if you save less now, you're only cheating yourself out of a more prosperous retirement. But again, we understand that life happens, but as long as we're honest with ourselves, we can achieve comfortable retirement outcomes.
As an SME, you can't compete with big business when it comes to insurance. But you have other advantages in your favor.
Well, most South Africans aren't very confident about their financial retirement plan. And to make matters worse, only about a third of small, medium enterprises have retirement funding on their agenda. Melusi Ndlovu believes that it isn't all doom and gloom, however. Melusi, thanks so much for your time. I'm encouraged to disagree with you here because, the SME specifically, we are told, are the biggest employers or are opposed to be the biggest employers here. And yet they're not planning for the retirement of their employees, and you're not too worried about this.
Yeah, so I think, Fifi, it's quite important to look at the context of where the SME decision makers are. So when we did the survey last year, we found that less than 10% of the decision makers were confident about the South African economy. And almost half of them said that a significant portion of their revenue goes towards paying debt. So in that context, it becomes very difficult to imagine how one can afford to increase expenses by purchasing an employee benefit solution for your staff.
So then whose responsibility is it?
There are solutions that are available. The role is for the decision maker or the owner of the SME to look for solutions and purchase one that's right for their staff profile. In the olden world, it used to be very costly and there was a lot of compliance and administrative difficulty related to running an employee benefit solution for your staff. But with the advent of multi-employer umbrella funds, it's become much easier for a company with as few as 5 staff members to purchase a retirement funding solution for their staff.
And where are these solutions? Or does Old Mutual provide some of them?
Yes, so Old Mutual provides an umbrella fund called Superfund. It's the largest and oldest umbrella fund in South Africa. And one can purchase a retirement solution for your staff from as little as 5 staff members. The contributions range from as little as about 7.5% of salary, and one can then increase those as one sees fit.
Even in this current economic climate where, as you rightly pointed out, most small businesses are not very confident about the future.
Yeah, so I think the reality is that the time is always right to save. We know that there's a number of benefits that SMEs can have from providing these solutions. 70% of SME employees said that they do consider the availability of an EB solution when choosing who to work for. So it's important in attracting the right type of staff. It's also important in retaining staff because studies show that it costs between 6 and 12 months salary to replace an employee, because obviously you've got to deal with the lower productivity when they're not there. You've got to take time and effort to go and look for someone else And even after they've landed in your business, you still have to train them, and that can be quite costly.
What solutions are available to you as an employee of this company?
So I think there are two options there. The first one is one can talk to the managers or to the owners of the business that you work for, and bring reputable professional financial advisors to let them know what is available out there. The other option obviously is then to purchase a solution for yourself in the form of a retirement annuity or even another type of solution like that. And there are many that are available out there from various companies, including Old Mutual.
Malusi, are there legal implications for small businesses that don't provide retirement solutions for their employees? And if not, should government maybe put in place legal implications because the SMEs are being punted as the biggest job creators?
So currently there are no legal implications, so organizations can decide whether they offer a solution or not. But obviously there's the competitiveness to consider. Government has, over the last few years, especially at the budget speeches, tried to put in place measures that encourage participation in these umbrella funds.
Well, we'll leave it there. Malusi, thank you so much for giving us that knowledge, particularly for small businesses, that planning for the retirement of your employees need not cost you that much. Thanks again for watching MindSpace TV. Join us again next week, same time, same place. From myself, Fifi Peters, it's bye for now.